Julie's obviously already in the village, which helps. And for those who didn't meet her before, she came to the brunch on Tuesday, which is really nice because she got to meet fewer people. And ironically, only me and Louise were there from the brunch. So you might be thinking, we don't know her still. So I've known Julia 2 years, maybe. I can't even quite remember, but anyway, so she helped me quite a lot when I was doing the Positive Family Academy, and we used to meet regularly in Costa. And it became like, was it a Wednesday? Can't remember, a Tuesday or a Wednesday, where I would just rock up with my like 1950s laptop and she'd laugh at me. I've upgraded it now, but anyway, I realized very quickly that she was a real like expert in her field, and so I've like winched her back in, and here she is educating us. So what's really good about the village is loads of people do watch it on catch up, so although it might be a fairly small audience here, people are really quite engaged, so you will get a bigger audience ultimately. And I will obviously put this in the group. So, oh, and here comes Vicky. I will hand over to you, Julia. Do you need to be host? Do you need
I think I do need to be host, because yes, I'm going to share my screen.
I'll make you host.
Thank you.
No worries. I'm making hard work of it.
Good news is that the silence from upstairs.
You might find it's like a breakthrough night when you realise that your husband can do more than you thought he could. We'll see.
It's when the baby can do more than I think he can. Anyway, I'll try and stop being distracted by what I'm listening to upstairs. Right, I need to share my screen. I have done a presentation. I only started it this afternoon, and it's just got bigger and bigger. So I might waffle a bit. Just rein me in if I do. I'm going to share my screen. Let me just get it going. I've lost you. Everyone loves a Canva presentation.
Obviously.
Look at that, fancy. Okay, so I'm going to talk about how to make the most of your website, basically, because I had a scan through who's in the group, and most of you, it looks like most, if not all of you, have got websites already. So you need to, has that just moved on without me? Hang on, I don't know if I did that on purpose or if I put the wrong one on. Looks all right. So if you've got websites already, I'm not going to talk too much about what platform you should go for and that kind of thing, because you've already chosen your platform. And in 9 cases out of 10, re-platforming will not solve your issues. So whatever platform you're on is probably going to be fine. It's quite rare that you'll ever want to change your platform. So anyway, I'll tell you a bit about myself. So I have a rather strange background. I kind of fell into looking after websites and building them. I didn't mean to do it, it just happened. But I built my first one at university as part of my degree, even though I was doing a degree in biology. I thought, and this was, I'll show my age now, but this was over 20 years ago. I thought it would be a great idea to get a load of information and put it on this newfangled thing called a website and see if people interacted with it. And they did. And that was literally 20 years ago. And I've been obsessed and very geeky about that kind of thing ever since. I then did a load of work for various science organisations. So my background is all about sort of analytical science, but I did a lot of brain and behaviour. So I'm quite obsessed with what makes people do what they do. And that there's a lot of psychology behind websites, as I'm sure is fairly obvious about it, because it's all about getting people to act in a way that you want them to act, isn't it? When you get into the website, how do you get them to go down the street you want them to go? How do you get them to take the action that you want them to take? And it's so intricate and so complicated. I can't possibly cover it all in this, but I'm going to do a bit of an overview with a few of my top tips. So hopefully some of them you'll be able to actually apply. But right now, obviously I've got my 2 little kiddies. So I'm working for, well, I've set up 2 Hoots Digital, and I'm primarily into Facebook ads. So I started doing that first, which is where I met Linda, running adverts. But when you run an advert on Facebook or Instagram, wherever it is, you can control what happens in that advert within that environment and who sees that advert. And that's about as far as you can get. When they get onto the website, I realized that I'd kind of lost them. There was nothing I could do about it. There were no levers I could pull. So I thought, hang on, what if I could control the whole journey from where they discover you via either organic or via an advert. And then I could control all the way through to when they press purchase and repurchase, hopefully. So I started getting into Shopify websites, they're my favorite, but I also dabble in a bit of Squarespace and a bit of WordPress. I will admit I try and avoid Wix. I know a lot of you've got Wix websites, but they're probably not the best ones. But still, if you've got one, replatforming is just, honestly, it's not worth it. And some of them I've had quite a good look through what's going on in the village for the website. Some of them are really quite good. So it's all good. Right, I will see what I've got next. So when I had to look at your websites, I did what most people do, and I looked on my desktop because I was in work mode. And we all sit here behind our desks going la la la, looking at websites in business mode. But what people do in reality is they think, oh, I wonder what XYZ is doing, and they look on their phone. So it's normal for about 80% of all website traffic now to be coming through from a mobile phone. So when you build your website, or when you change it, when you make edits, try and put it in whatever platform you're on. There tends to be a little view, so you can change it to mobile view. Try and make the edits in that mode and make sure it makes sense. So you'll find that what looks beautiful on desktop won't necessarily render properly across to mobile, and it needs to. So some platforms are better at doing this than others. So Squarespace, Wix isn't bad actually, and Shopify do it beautifully. WordPress tends to take a bit more effort to make it look right. But just make sure that things fall where you think they're going to fall, and that the order is in the right order and nothing is cut off, or really importantly, too small, because that quite often happens as well. Because you built it to look beautiful on desktop and you've kind of forgotten that 80% of people are going to be on phone. So just really keep that in mind, because that can make a huge difference to how your site performs. So in the olden days, when I built my first website 20 years ago, it was quite a straight journey. So people would go, here's my website. You'd go to the homepage, then you'd go wherever it goes from there, and then you'd go wherever it goes to buy a product, or wherever it might be. It doesn't work like that anymore. They could land anywhere. They could land on a collection page, they could land on a product page, they could land anywhere, because Google's indexed it and it just puts the stuff up where it fancies, depending on what they've looked for. So you can't rely on the fact that they're going to be drip fed information from the homepage through to wherever it is that they're going to be making the transaction on the website. So you need to think about that when you're building it. So it's almost like every collection, every product, every whatever it is, has to almost be standalone, or it has to really signpost where they can get more information about stuff. So what people worry about is that they're repeating themselves across their website, but you can't repeat yourself too much, because it just doesn't work like that anymore. So you need the information across everything. So when somebody comes to your website, however they've got there, it's closer to 8 seconds to make an impression, or they're going to bounce. So that 8 seconds is really important. The first thing that they see is going to be really important. So you've got to think about, particularly on a mobile phone, are they going to scroll? They've got to see something within that 8 seconds that's going to make them want to keep going. So it's really important that your first impression is good. And you also need to instantly create credibility and trust, or they're just going to think spammy website, or it's rubbish, and it just leads to massive high bounce rates. But most of that, what I want to talk about, is completely subconscious. So people don't even know that they're doing this. They don't know that they're looking for reasons to leave, or that they're looking for reasons to scroll. So it's all about getting sort of little hooks on your website, getting it to look right, getting information in the right places to get them to keep looking, to know that that's where they should be. And I did notice this on a couple of your websites. Big old blocks of text. People don't read websites. They're not books. They're not pamphlets. So people act with them quite differently to how they would other media. So what they do is they just scan them. If there's a big old block of text, they won't read it. They'll scan it across. A few words might jump out at them, and if it's for them, they might delve a bit deeper. So you have to write them slightly differently to how you would other media. So it's all about bullet points and keeping it really short, putting a lot of space around blocks of text, and just keeping the sentences shorter than you would, say, in a book or something. Because people have really short attention spans on websites. So you've just got to go, really short, really simple. My dad always says, keep it simple, stupid. And whenever I'm writing web copy, like that's what I've got going over in my mind. Keep it simple, stupid. Dadisms. Talk about your ideal client, not about yourself. That's a really easy trap to fall into. So don't go on a website and go, I do this, I do that, la la la. It's irrelevant. The person that is reading your website doesn't really care about you, they care about them. So you need to say, if you want to achieve X, Y, Z, I can help you. So it's just about reframing your message, because otherwise that's another thing that just makes people bounce. So there are 3 things that will make your website work at the end of the day. And it's these 3 things: desire, trust, and the offer. So I'm going to go through these separately, but the desire part is they have to be the right person for that website. You could have the best website in the whole world that sells dog biscuits. If they haven't got a dog, they're not going to care. So you have to show immediately that they're in the right place to them. Trust factor. I'll come on to that later, but they've got to understand that you're trustworthy instantly without, and this is all subconscious, without even thinking about it. They're not going to doubt who you say you are. And then the last one is the offer, because people make decisions on websites and in shops actually emotionally. You don't even know you're doing this. You'll choose to buy something because you like it, and there'll be all sorts of emotional reasons behind it where you've chosen it. And then your rational brain will give you lots of reasons to justify why you should purchase it. And you have to think about that when you're presenting your products or whatever it might be on a website to back up why they're going to make that purchase. But I'll go into that in a bit more detail in a minute. So the first one, desire, is this site for them? So when somebody lands on the website, we have this thing called the fold, even though obviously it's a flat screen. This is more important for mobiles. In the first screen on your mobile, can they see what the site is about, who it's for, and where they could go next if they're interested? So don't just have a load of blurb at the top or a pretty picture. If they have to scroll and they don't know it's for them, remember you've got 8 seconds to make that impression. They'll just leave. And obviously you don't want them to bounce, but you want them to bounce if they're not the right people. You want the people to go, oh, it's a dog biscuit site, this isn't for me, to leave because you're not interested in them. But you want the right people to go, oh, this site is talking about fixing my problems. I'm going to have a look at this. So I would recommend to have a strong, short opening that basically tells people what the site's about immediately. It's almost like a tagline. So you'd have your brand, whatever it is, and then like a tagline about, it's really difficult to come up with them, but about what you do and how you're going to fix their problem. It's really difficult to condense that into like 1 sentence, but try. And from there, they'll go, oh, this site's for me. That's when you start signposting where they can go next that's relevant to them.
Would you put the tagline on every single page?
No, I'm not. This is just talking about, although having said that people will appear on your site in all different places, this is for the homepage. That tagline you can use throughout the site as well, but it's not quite in the same way.
I've got a tagline. I just looked at my homepage.
Yay! What is it?
Positive preparation for a positive birth. Hypnobirthing with Linda McNeil. Is that a tagline?
Yes.
Okay.
I think you could improve it. Okay. But I'll come back to that.
Okay.
This needs to be visible about something, blah, blah, blah. And then, yeah, signpost where they should go next. So they need to, it's almost like if they have to think, they will leave. So you have to make everything blindingly obvious. You have to spoon feed them the website. It's all about reducing friction towards the goal that you've got for them, that whatever transaction it is that you want them to make on the site, you have to reduce the friction all the way through. So it has to be super obvious and really tempting for them to click through to the next bit. So still talking about the desire element of the trio. Problem solving is a massive deal when you're trying to sell somebody something. So you're not selling them the object, you're selling them how they're going to feel when you've solved their problems. So your product, your offer, your whatever it is the solution to some issue or problem that they've got. You are selling them the feeling that they are going to have when you've solved that problem. So really bear that in mind, because you're not selling a candle, you're selling a relaxing evening, you're selling a beautiful gift set, your mother's going to smile at you. It's all about emotions. It's really not about objects, whatever it is. If you're selling a service, you're selling how somebody's going to feel after they've had that service. So you need to really focus on that and really delve into what the problems is a horrible word, and issues might be better, but whatever it is that you can solve for them, whatever element of their life that you're going to make better, that's what you're selling. So the trust part of this is massively important. It's one of the most important parts of any website. I can't stress that enough. So, and there's so many different factors that people don't even realize that they're doing when they look at a website that sort of are related to whether or not they trust you, whether or not you're the person that's going to get this job or purchase, because there's 10 people offering the same thing as you. Why choose you? So initially, does the site look like a real one? Is it professional enough for them to not look at it and go, that looks a bit XYZ? It doesn't want to look like it's homemade. This isn't the place for that. If you're expecting some kind of transaction out of it, it's not good enough for it to look like you made it yourself. So, but the good thing about a lot of these platforms nowadays is that they don't look like you've made them yourself. The hardest one to get right by yourself is WordPress. Something like Wix, Squarespace, or Shopify are quite easy to make look really professional. Somebody's got a Duda site as well, I saw. I don't know much about Duda, but it looked all right to me. Apart from, I did notice it had a blurry logo, which made me write that. So watch out for blurry logos. Anything that makes it look just slightly not quite right. Don't have any weird fonts and weird colors. Anything that cheapens it would also make people, it causes friction. It makes people look at it and sort of question what they're seeing rather than just absorbing what it's about. So yeah, check your logo, check that it's legible, and whatever you do, don't have a blurry one because it just looks terrible. So how do you get them to believe that you can deliver what you say you can deliver? This is something that you're going to be putting throughout the site, wherever you can put it. So you need to incorporate these trust factors absolutely everywhere. But one of my favorite ones, if you've got them, is to use stats. So if you've treated 250 people for some issue, tell them you've done that. There's this weird thing where people that go on websites, and you've probably done it yourself, don't like to feel like they're the first person that's ever bought something. So you've got to hide, if it is a brand new website and they are the first person, you've got to hide that. But if you've got loads of previous customers, clients, whatever, say it. Find some statistics. If you've sold 3,000 of these products, tell people that. 3,000 happy customers, great. Whatever it might be. Whatever stats you can pull out of the air. The other one you can do is to start using reviews. Most of you are probably doing this already because it's blindingly obvious, but these days people are starting to trust reviews less because they can look false. So don't fake them, get real ones, which is why if you can get video reviews or photo reviews, people trust them a lot more because it's just part of psychology. You just believe it more because you're seeing somebody there using it. If you can get, especially if you are selling a service rather than a product, videos can be really powerful. So if you can get some of your clients to say, I had a treatment with XYZ, it's changed my life, that will hugely help your website conversion rate.
Where would you put them, Julia? Like if you had got this
Everywhere.
On your website?
Everywhere. So yes, on the website. So I would have a carousel on the homepage. I would have individual reviews on product pages or purchase pages, but you just generally pepper it throughout.
Okay, thank you.
The other way of getting trust is basically to borrow it from other sources, credible sources. So you'll find a lot of sites do this. So you might see like as seen in John Lewis or as featured in Daily Mail or whatever. And it doesn't matter even if it's a bit tenuous. Do it anyway. And if it's you've been quoted in a magazine or an article, include all of that, and you can use their logos on your site saying featured in blah blah blah. So somebody I was working with a woman that sold wicker baskets, and she took out an advert in the digital version of Vogue. And after she did that, she got to say I was featured in Vogue. And that made a huge difference to her website. It was simple, but it worked.
That is cunning.
Yeah. She's doing madly well, actually, madly well. She can't keep up with orders. Yeah, so this is about borrowing trust, essentially. So if you find or even somebody in the industry that a lot of people know, like, and trust, you can borrow their trust by using them on your website. But don't make it up. And yeah, you need to pepper them everywhere, not just on the homepage. So this bit about answering all the anxieties goes back to when I was talking about friction. So friction in a website is something like, I don't know, say I'm on my website, I'm about to order something, and then I realise I don't know how much the postage is. And I can't find how much the postage is. So I've added it to cart, and I'm clicking through just to see what it adds, to see what it does. And now I still can't find it. Now I've got bored and I've left. So little things like that can make a big difference to how your site performs. So have an FAQ section. You can if you get emails from people, like client emails, or you talk to people, if you get asked the same questions over and over again, put them in your FAQs. Always show shipping next to the add to cart button, or just all over the website, or it depends if it's a product, but anything like that where they're going to question the price, just make it really clear before they get any further. So they don't even have to think about it. They already know. You have to show your refund policy, and it really helps if you offer guarantees, and write them nicely. So you see this on a lot of websites. You go into the refund policy and it's like, we do not offer this, blah, blah, blah. We do not accept. And it makes them sound like they hate you. There's just no reason for it. You can be really friendly. You can go, because legally, when you buy something on a website, you've got 14 days legally to return it anyway, unless it's personalized or whatever. There's a few caveats to that. So you might as well write, we're really proud to offer this kind of return policy, but we're so sure you're going to love this. We doubt you're going to need it, that kind of thing. Just be really nice about it rather than clinical and aggressive, which quite often happens in return policies. And very few people ever act on them anyway. So you might as well make the most of it and make it into a plus point rather than a covering your arse point. So the offer, this is the final part. So whatever it is that you're promoting, be it yourself or a product, people are going to decide pretty quickly if they're interested, if they want to buy it, you, whatever it is. And they use their emotional brain to do that. It is then the offer that you can give that will give them a rational reason to follow through with that desire to purchase. So an offer can be, when I say offer, I don't mean permanent sales or whatever. It can be a sale if you want it to be. The offer is going to bring in your cold audience, and you need it there, preferably all the time, because it's the bit that seals the deal when they're umming and ahhing and reaching for their wallet. So it could be that you're going to give a free gift or a bonus deal or just something, anything, because it just speaks to the rational part where they go, oh, that's interesting, that's a good deal, might do that. And then people do worry. They go, oh, but I can't, I'm going to have to change it 12 million times a year or whatever to keep new people coming in to see my offer. But on average, your website will get visited by your client or customer 1.2 times a year. That's just normal. So people don't see your website nearly as much as you do. So don't be too conscious that you haven't changed the homepage or the offer for a while. Just keep running it. If it works, keep running it. Oh, this is my tip on writing web copy. So this is about how to find the anxieties when you're trying to write your website and you're wondering what you need to put in your FAQs. Have a look through reviews, either your own reviews. Sometimes you can find relevant Amazon reviews. That can be quite tricky, but if it's a product, you can. Or find a competitor and read their reviews. So what people do with reviews is they either write what they really loved or what they really hated. And you can write down a load of words that keep coming up. Now, I was selling bed sheets, children's bed sheets, and I needed to change their copy because it was awful. And I went through their reviews, and what people kept saying was, it washes really well, washes really well. And they hadn't mentioned that in any of their blurb anywhere. So obviously that's the kind of thing that people care about. So if you go through the reviews, you can find the stuff that people are genuinely really interested in, or the stuff that was a friction factor for them that you've managed to either solve or not solve. And then, well, you can either fix that friction issue, or you can write about how you've already fixed it, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I love looking at reviews. The other thing about reviews is that your customers will speak in the language that they want to be spoken in. So you can use their language on your website. The way that they speak is how you should talk back at them. So it's helpful for getting rid of jargon on your website. You can get so into your own offer, and that maybe, I don't know, if you do something a bit sciencey, you can get so into the clinical language of what you do that you don't appreciate that that's not how your client or your customer actually speaks. So yeah, have a look and see how they talk. I've got a baby, hang on. Oh, darling. Right, SEO. I know a few of you have concerns about this. My biggest tip for SEO is partly not to worry about it too much, because it takes blooming ages for Google to make a change. It takes like 6 to 12 weeks for anything to make a blind bit of difference. But the best and the quickest thing you can do is blog. Hang on, I'm just going to plug him in. But most of the platforms that you are using already have a blogging element to them. So like Shopify does, Squarespace does, I think Wix does as well. So use it. And a lot of people are a bit resistant to it because it's work. But you can reuse your blogs. You can reuse the content across your socials and your emails. You can cut it up and you can use it for days, honestly. You write one good blog, you get so much stuff out of it. When you write it, just write it naturally. Don't keyword stuff. If you're writing it naturally about what is relevant on your website, the right words will appear anyway. So I really don't like keyword stuffing. If it's natural, I honestly think it works better. But by blogging, you're going to have traffic coming to those blogs and onto your site, and it's honestly it can make all the difference. Just keep the blogs obviously relevant to whatever your offer is. The other thing you can then do is post your blogs to Pinterest. Pinterest is one of the biggest drivers of free traffic. So if you're not doing it, do it. And you might think, but I offer XYZ, that's not a Pinterest thing. You'd be amazed. You can pin any blog to Pinterest. So yeah, look into that. Questions?
There's been some coming up in the chat as you've been talking, Julia. Just a few.
I don't know if I've got spare hands to.
I will put. I'll read them out to you. Ready? Oh, apart from if you do it yourself, you can use that yourself. Don't know.
I'm in it.
Okay.
I've got Squarespace, but it was still a nightmare. Yeah, iPads are funny, but the good news is that hardly anyone looks at websites on iPads. Like I don't know, do any of you guys actually look at websites on an iPad? So I really wouldn't worry about it. And that number actually getting smaller. As phones get bigger, it seems like nobody bothers anymore. Everyone just uses their phones. Yeah, it's annoying that if it doesn't work properly on iPad, but because it does all that rendering across different platforms or different devices itself, to some extent, there's not that much you can do about it, but just keep fiddling.
We found we had a lot more kind of imagery on it, and that just wasn't translating between different devices. So I've ended up scaling it right back. It's super simple.
Imagery right is the bane of my life when I'm building websites, because getting something that works on desktop and on mobile can be incredibly difficult, because sometimes you just need to focus on the center of the image, and then what's at either side doesn't matter because it's going to get cropped off on mobile. It looks great on desktop, rubbish on mobile if you get it wrong. Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult, and every platform has slightly different rules about sizes. So, you know.
Do you want me to read the next comment? Would that be helpful?
Yeah.
I have Wix. I am happy, but know there is better out there. This is from Nicola. My fear is finding the time to rebuild on a new platform all over again.
What's the website for?
My products, candles and bits.
Oh, was that you at Bewley the other day in the
It was me in my land girl outfit.
Yes, I remember. Okay, so I would absolutely go to Shopify if I were you.
Okay.
$1,000,000%. It's really easy to use, and it's designed for e-commerce, which Wix never was. That's the same with Squarespace. They were never designed for e-commerce, so you can use Squarespace to build a beautiful site to sell your own services, but it's not quite so good for products, whereas Shopify is amazing and it integrates beautifully with loads of things. It works really well with Facebook ads if you ever want to go down that route, because that's the other thing I noted, that none of you seem to have pixeled your websites. So you're not tracking visitors. I couldn't find any Google tags, I couldn't find any Facebook pixels, any of that, but Shopify does that so easily. It would be a dream for you.
Thank you.
I think there's a lot of ignorance, maybe is a harsh word, but I would use it about myself around Facebook ads. I don't know that many people in this group use them or have any understanding of them. So I might be wrong. You can all correct me, but that would be something maybe we could do some more learning on in the future. And then use your services.
Talk about Facebook ads for days.
Yeah. I think it will be a real point of interest actually, because a lot of us I think could use them really successfully, but just don't know how to, and so I don't think do, because of just a misunderstanding or ignorance around it. I know I don't at all, because I'm scared.
I can understand what's scary, because it costs money and you don't know if it's going to work, but yeah, it basically don't boost anything, because that's like burning money. You have to do it properly. So yeah, just don't boost anything, because you might as well just give old Zucks your money straight away.
Okay.
Get nothing back. I have 123 Reg, so that's 123 Reg is a domain provider. You don't build websites on it, so it's probably built on something else.
Oh right, okay. I've built it through their web builder package that
but
they
it's not
have.
web. Okay.
Yeah.
Can we have a look at it?
Yeah, of course. What should I do?
I'll tell you what, I'll bring it up and share my screen. What is it?
Jigsawdrama.co.uk.
Oh, that's the Duda site.
Oh, is it? Never heard of it. Didn't even know what that is.
Jigsaw Drama. I'll share in a second. I'll show you how I can tell. Oh, Jigsaw Arts, that's not it, is it? There it is. Excuse me. I don't know, I've got a right croak in my throat today. I think it's hay fever.
Oh, I suffer with hay fever really badly. It's horrible.
This is your site. Is this it?
Yes. Yeah, that's it.
So this is the one where I thought logo's a bit blurry. And also
The logo's changing, so it's all good.
Oh, marvellous. Well, that's good. It's hard to read and it's a bit blurry, which doesn't. All right. Oh, the joys of having a baby. All right, mate.
Oh.
Go on in.
All of these images are changing as well. They're all really old.
So you've got this where everyone has a part to play, which is probably part of the, I don't know, it's a franchise, but that doesn't mean anything.
No. It's not a tagline.
I get it's a play on words, but it's taken me a moment to figure that out.
Yeah, it's going as well.
So from this site, you come here and you don't know this drama, but there's nothing here to tell me where to go or what you do without going a bit further.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've fallen into this massive text thing.
Yeah.
It's really difficult not to do that, by the way, really difficult. But your websites, I use this Chrome extension called Built With. So I can see you've got MailerLite. Let's see, so you've got a Duda platform.
Okay.
Duda, I don't know much about. I think it's, I've heard good things, but I've never actually used it, so I don't know. But I looked at this on mobile. It's one of the few I did look at mobile, and I got lost down here just because of the way it looked on mobile. I went into this one by accident, and then I couldn't get back to your website, and I didn't actually realize I'd left your website.
Oh wow, yeah, that's interesting.
So yeah, just check your journey on mobile.
Yes, thank you. So yeah, because I am literally going to be changing all of this, is it worth changing platform?
Because I don't know Duda at all.
Yeah.
I don't know what the back of it's like. I don't know how easy it is to edit. I would be very tempted to go to Squarespace for you.
Okay.
But if this is working, I mean, is it converting? Are you getting the signups that you want?
It's hard to know whether they come through my website or not. I wouldn't know whether they have booked via my website or via something else.
Okay, well, one of the first things you can do is to put a questionnaire in your booking form. If you've got 3 seconds, tell us how you heard about us.
Yeah, I have got that. How you heard about us, and often, but not how you booked, how you actually booked.
So is the booking?
So the booking is done through Book When, and then on my website, those links down there will take you to Book When, and Book When is on my Facebook, it's on my Instagram.
Okay, so you need the stats basically. So all of these buttons should be being tracked. So you could do that either via Google Analytics or you've got no pixel. What's going on here? You've got no tracking on the site basically. I don't know if Duda does much tracking.
Okay.
If they tell you anything, but yeah, you need to be tracking where people are going with this. If you had Google Tag Manager installed, you'd be able to look at Google Analytics and you'd know exactly where they came from.
Is that easy to do?
No. Well, the thing is, I've said that I don't know how easy it is on Duda. In Shopify, it's really easy. Putting the pixel into Wix and Squarespace is also really easy. Duda, I don't know. When you start getting into bespoke websites, actually, WordPress is easy as well. But you need a. I use an app called. It's not an app. It's called an app in Shopify. In WordPress, it's called a plugin. In WordPress, I use a plugin called Pixel Your Site, and there's a free one and a paid one. But if you get the free one, it will add a bunch of stuff that allows tracking. But that's more for Facebook tracking. But yeah, I don't know how Duda works when it comes to tracking because I don't know it.
Okay, thank you. I'm really tempted to start again.
I'm joking. It's not bad. I have to say, it's not. There's some really nice touches to this. I like the colours. I like these jigsaw bits. Even the font's not gone too far down because it's quite difficult sometimes to balance that it's for children with it making it look childish, which I don't think you've done, if you know what I mean. It's obviously something for children from the colours, but it doesn't look really childish. You haven't used that awful font, the Comic Sans one type thing. You haven't gone too far down that road.
Yeah. Thank you.
Anyone else got anything? Or if you've got a website you want me to look at?
I've got a screaming baby, so I'm going to just pause for a minute. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Julia, can I just ask where you were talking about reviews? So I've been using Google reviews. Can you link from your website to the Google reviews so it shows on there on a WordPress site or not? Because I've just copied and pasted
that will pull them in.
I've typed them in and put it on there, but obviously to have a link where people could go and see it live.
Most people do it the other way around. There are lots of as in you'd write a review on the website and it would push a rich snippet into Google to become a Google review. So most people do it that way around, but I bet there is a plugin that will pull them in. But yeah, do it. It's so important. People just don't believe anything unless somebody else who is like them has told them that it's good. He's going to sleep. It's all good.
Oh.
Am I boring you, darling?
We're all boring here.
He's like, I've heard this before. That's fine. I'll just let her carry on talking. I'll have a
Yeah, he hears this all of me droning on all the time on Zoom. Poor boy. Thinks that's like normal life.
Oh, can you talk a bit more about taglines then? I'm intrigued.
See, I've just been really rude about this one, which was probably where
I don't think you haven't been rude. Like it is quite a clever play on words, but it's not an immediate response, is it? So I get what you mean.
So it's not the tagline for your logo, I guess. It's a bit of text that's going to tell you what the product is and how you can help them. It's very similar to when you're running a Facebook ad. It's very similar. You've got a tiny bit of space to tell people what the product is, so they know if they're interested and if it's going to work for them. So what was yours again, Linda?
I've honestly forgotten. Hang on a minute. I think it was positive preparation for a positive birth, which is a little bit average, admittedly.
You've gone down that alliterates. That sounds great, rude.
Yeah, positive preparation for positive birth. Yeah, hypnobirthing with Linda McNeil.
You've got the hypnobirthing bit on the end, so that's okay, because otherwise, what positive presentation? I can't even say it. Doesn't. I think you should brainstorm it. I think it could be better.
Yeah. There's definitely way too much text on my site.
What problem are you solving? So talk about them and how they're going to feel.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. I think also
I should brainstorm that.
Yeah, I need to have just a little think. I think also with everyone else with blogs, it almost felt like writing stuff feels almost like old-fashioned these days. Like people don't want to read a blog, and so I feel like I've like moved further and further. I used to write so much, and I've just totally stopped. It feels like people haven't got the attention span.
It doesn't have to be very long. It could be 2 paragraphs. If you do it consistently, it can be really short. So don't turn it into this big thing in your head that you can't do because it's so big. Just
can you think of a website where they've got good blogging that you could show us? Like get an example. If you can't, don't worry. I'm just intrigued as to how it reads and how it looks.
So I can only think of bad examples, which is really helpful, isn't it? So like this is a fashion site. It's one of my sites. This what I did earlier.
I remember you doing this site.
Yeah, it was ages ago, but she's quite good at regularly blogging. So she's a fashion designer. It's not loading quick enough. Oh, that's new. So she has these blogs. She's calling them stories because it's like high-end fashion. You can't call it a blog. What a lot of websites do is they'll have a blog section in the background, which she's taken the link away for, which is annoying. So they'll have a blog or a stories, whatever, page where they're all sitting. And then the home page pulls on the most recent 3, 4, 6, 8, whatever it is, into little snippets on the home page. And Google likes that because it thinks it can see that you've got fresh content. But also, this is just filling your website with nice searchable keywords, like repeatedly. So she doesn't, some of these, she gets carried away with some are much longer than others. So, I mean, that's it for that one. It really doesn't have to be big. And then she'd use this image and a bit of text and whack it onto Pinterest as a post. And you'd be amazed at the amount of traffic that Pinterest can generate onto a website.
Her tone doesn't appeal to me as a customer at all. It's so interesting, isn't it? I'm not her customer.
No, she is very much, she writes exactly how she speaks. Everyone is darling.
Yeah.
Darling. She's lovely though. I can't say she's not. But yeah, she is selling herself, and that is something that all you guys are doing as well. You are selling yourselves. So don't be afraid to talk like you talk. But she's not, and it works for her. Just don't be afraid to have your own personality on a website. I can't think of any of the blogs. Who else does it all? I don't know. That's one of those things where I tout on about it all the time, and a lot of people are just, I'm too busy. Oh, one that, hang on, I've just thought of one that's doing, because I know I just said I had hay fever. This one. So this is hay fever products for 2 years upwards. So it's quite helpful. So I've landed on not the homepage. Here will be the homepage. So this client, because I built this website, this client uses a lot of blogging, and she tends to, I mean, she did one on COVID or hay fever because that did really well, actually. That brought quite a lot of traffic. But so she tends to write blogs around her different avatars. So an avatar being an ideal client. And obviously you have more than one type of ideal client. So she's got like 6 different people that might want to use this product. One is like a boy doing an exam. One is like a 2-year-old. And so she'll write a blog based around that avatar. And then one of the things she tests is trying to send traffic to those different blogs. And if you're selling products or yourself, don't forget within the blog to tell people, link to how to buy it. So have lots of either product imagery or just make it easy. Like, I mean, what's she done in this one? I can't remember. So like it will talk about blah, 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 kids hay fever. And oh, look, here's the product you can buy with it. So yeah, this is a quite good example, actually. This site is absolutely killing it. Her conversion rate is ridiculous. But then I guess everyone's got hay fever at the moment.
It is good though. It's a really good site, isn't it? So she's got all those reviews running across like their Trustpilot, is it saying?
I cheated with this one. So Trustpilot, I absolutely hate Trustpilot. They are evil. The problem is most people see Trustpilot and they're like, oh, great, I trust them because they're Trustpilot. But what they do is they basically own all of your data and then charge you to use your own data. So using Trustpilot as a small business is so expensive, it's almost impossible because it's just madness. So I've faked this, which is naughty. So she is on Trustpilot, but she's not paying to have the carousels of reviews. I've made these and then put the stars in, but they are real Trustpilot reviews. I've just made it. It's not pulling them out of Trustpilot.
That's so clever. So could Louise do something similar with Google? So she could pull up her Google reviews and have them going around on a carousel, but not have to link it.
Probably. So yours is a WordPress site, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not brilliant with WordPress, but because it's open source, there's a plugin for almost everything. There'll be about 1 million different reviews ones. But what most people do is they use some kind of app to get reviews.
You can definitely do the carousel thing because I've got it with the pictures for before and after. So
it's about getting it automated though. So but it depends how many clients you have. If you only work with 3 people a month, I wouldn't bother automating it, do it manually. If you're selling 50 products a day, you're not going to do that. You're going to have an email follow-up after your product is purchased.
Yeah.
You would use I use one called Judge Me a lot, which is available for WordPress and Shopify. And what
so the majority of my clients won't do Google reviews anyway because they don't want to admit that they've had me in as their dirty little secret. Unlike people like Linda who have shouted about it.
Psychologists, services, that's absolutely true. They want to be anonymous.
So people will email me stuff or say, oh, I don't mind if you say like Mrs. P or, you know, her Christian name or whatever. And then I type that into something on my website and use that on my social media and stuff like that.
Yeah, but then getting people to believe it again is quite hard because people are quite wary now of made up reviews. But if you do get reviews, don't edit them. Like, you don't edit typos because it just makes them look more real. It's really difficult not to. But.
Sorry. I was just about to say, can I feed the same reviews from my Google reviews into Wix? Is that quite easy done on there?
I don't know about Wix.
I've made a note. I'll have a little search tomorrow.
Yeah, have a look. But however it is that you have to do it.
Yeah, I like it. It looks good.
Yeah, just it makes all the difference. Social proof. This is what's known as social proofing. Is one of the biggest factors in increasing conversion rates.
Yeah, I'm all for reviews. I always look for reviews when I'm shopping, so I should definitely get them on there.
Yeah, do. And it's candles, isn't it? So oh man, I've done some candles. It's all about, obviously, selling a fragrance online is almost impossible. So you have to get really, I can't remember when I last looked at your site, but I have looked at it. You have to get really involved with setting the scene with the language and selling them sat by the fireside. With their feet up, and I mean, you might be doing it anyway, I don't know, but you're selling a moment, aren't you?
Absolutely. And I've actually just changed some of my product names from, say, if it was called Oasis, or like you said online, what does Oasis spell like? So now I've narrowed it down to I can't remember what it was, Orange Blossom and Neroli. So you know what you're getting, so you get an expectant of what they're gonna get, of what
That's
they're gonna
a really good point, actually. When it comes to SEO, when you're naming your products, name them what they are.
Yeah.
So do they include the word candle in the title? Because if they don't, they should.
No, they don't.
Well, have a think about that, because it's much more helpful for Google when they do.
Oh, okay. So on the actual product, it will say Orange Blossom.
What's your website?
Beefy Bell's Gifts. I'm nervous now.
Don't be. Highly scented wax melts.
Yeah, see, I don't like that strapline. That annoys me, but it's something that Wix insisted that I had to have, and I couldn't change it. That sounds tacky to me.
Why can't you change it?
I don't know. I can't remember what I was trying to change it to, but it said I had to have this one as my part of my SEO, get the green tick to get onto Google. Frustratingly.
Wix is weird with SEO. It's better than it used to be. Oh, here's a thing. You've got a pop-up. Set it so that it doesn't pop up immediately, because people don't know, if they've never met your site, they don't know your brand, they know nothing.
Yeah.
They need a site for a little while to know if they care about free shipping, or if you're going to do a sign up for 10% off or whatever, because getting email addresses wherever you can is always a good idea. So put either a 50% page scroll on or something like a 15-second delay, and it actually makes it work better.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Otherwise it pops up and people just close it because they're still trying to see the website to know if they're interested.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I like your pictures, so that's a good start.
Thank you.
So if you've got is that the homepage I've gone to? Can you see your logo? So small I can't read it.
Yeah, I know, but you can't make it any bigger on Wix.
Good old Wix.
Yeah, so that is as large as I can go.
So this is where I land, and I can see it's candles because I can see that they're candles, but your main thing, which is telling you what you do, I have to scroll to get to.
Yeah.
You do have a this is called it's just fallen out of my brain, but you have got an action button. So I mean, you've got like shop is a bit blah. You want to pull them through, so I would probably change that to something like discover our candles. I don't know, I mean that's rubbish, but something else.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
La da da da, and then wherever you can. Oh, if you can get a real domain name, because as soon as people see hotmail.com, that's a trust factor loss.
Okay.
Because it's not a real domain. So you obviously own fifibellgifts.com, so you should be hello or info or your name or whatever at the domain.com. I don't know if people use this because you've got no incentive for them. Do you have
when you were talking earlier, I went onto it and I made a note to delete that bit out, because the bit underneath it is the refund policy, so you're not necessarily getting there. So I was going to delete that section out, because you've got the let's chat function down there on the left hand side, on the right hand side, sorry, so you don't necessarily need that middle bit.
Getting people's email addresses is always a good thing. Wherever you can, do it, because no matter what happens to like various web platforms or email or like, I don't know, Facebook, whatever it is, you'll always own your email list. And if you're not emailing regularly, then you're leaving money on the table. I don't know if you are, but
No, I've just started to really up my email game, and I feel like a nuisance, but I'm just doing what everyone else is doing.
good. That people get really funny about emailing too much. Don't, because if they are the right people, they won't mind you emailing.
Yeah.
If they go, oh, I don't like this, and they unsubscribe, they weren't the right people anyway. So, like, just do it.
Yeah.
One of those feel the fear and do it anyway moments. Who's your email client?
My
What's-
email client.
Not MailChimp, is it? Everyone uses MailChimp. They're awful. So look, yeah, what are you using? Wix, e-commerce. Or are you emailing straight out of Wix?
Straight out of Wix, yeah. I tend to use those templates. I have done some from my Hotmail, but I prefer the look and it all coming from one place in Wix, so it's consistent.
If you're emailing out of Hotmail, a lot of them will probably end up in people's spam folders anyway. Just
That's what I was thinking.
if you do go to Shopify, have a look at Klaviyo, because it's one of the only e-commerce platforms for email, and it's brilliant.
Okay, and what was that one? Can you repeat the name? Sorry. Avio.
Klaviyo, Klavio.
Sorry, it went really quiet. Thank you.
Yeah, it's brilliant. So what should be happening is people will sign up. So you'd have some kind of sign up for 10% off kind of thing. That's kind of standard. So you start collecting email addresses, and then it will trigger a flow. So they'll sign up, and then they'll immediately get 3 emails from that system, because it's all automated. You don't have to do anything. That will introduce you, introduce your brand, introduce the products, blah, blah, blah. And then you can fire out your campaigns once a week, twice a week, however often you want. But it will also integrate with your website, so that if you've got an abandoned cart, it will fire them an email that's not the Wix one or the Shopify standard one. It does much better ones that are much more sophisticated. And it can either do them as one, or it can do a series, or it can do different ones depending on what the product was and that kind of thing. But it works amazingly well.
Okay.
I was talking about your products, wasn't I? I was going to look at something on your product page. So this is right. That's annoying. So I don't know if this is Wix or if it's the template, or I don't know. But your add to cart button should be visible without me scrolling.
Yeah.
So you should have to reach over here, and all the info and the add to cart button should be here. So I shouldn't have to work for it. And also, it might be your branding color, but your add to cart button needs to like sing off the page. And it's if it's too blended in, that also hurts the amount of people that are going to add to cart. So you just need to make it like, here's the button, press it. So it's really hard for them to press it. So you've got aroma lamp. So that one tells you what it is. That's fine. Where's let me look at her. And then I'm stuck. I haven't got a collection to go into or anything. I've got to go back to the homepage.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, because I went via the homepage. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll go via. What else if I go there? Cards. See, you've got gifts. Wax bar. So that some of these take you to products and some take you to collections. Is that right?
Yes, so this is just the wax bar collections. Yeah.
Okay, so this is actually a product, but you can choose which one you want.
Yeah.
Got lots of variants.
Yeah, lots of variants in the wax melts.
Wax bar. So okay, so this isn't too bad for Google, because this is the product title. This is one product with, why's it got the SKU there? Nobody cares about that.
No idea.
So, but you've got wax bar collection, so Google will pick that up. But what a lot of people will do is that they'll sell a green dress and call it Audrey, and then it'll be called Audrey. Google doesn't know what that is. It means nothing. So you would call it Audrey green dress. So yeah, just think about that when you're naming products.
Okay.
But yeah, good old Wix. I mean, it's. I remember looking at this on mobile actually and thinking it was quite nice. But yeah, there's a lot of little tricks that you can do.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. It's all so helpful, Julia. Thank you.
Right. Ooh. Just playing now. I get a bit obsessed with people's websites and I can't stop. So, you've fallen into the old you haven't got your, what's it called?
You can't come from here. You can't go continue shopping, which annoys me as well.
You've got I've got no idea how much postage is.
Yeah.
So if I come here, can I see it? So
no,
if I come
I had that picked up on the home screen, didn't I? That said free shipping over £15.
I looked at it and I didn't see that. So that's why you have to repeat stuff on every page. So that should be written somewhere near your add to cart button. And also you should have a link to your returns policy, or just a really small part of it written somewhere here. A lot of people have tabs that sort of drop down with the information in.
Yeah.
And that's, yeah. But having if you are selling a product, do you know what your average order value is?
What date, like just one order average, it's probably about £15.
Okay, that's perfect then. So what you'd normally do is you'd either make your shipping free completely and incorporate it into the price of the product. So put your prices up and make shipping free. That simplifies it so much. Or
That's what I did previously, but with all of the price hikes that have happened, I made it so free shipping over £15, so I didn't have to adjust any of my prices on my products.
yeah, perfect. That's your other option, is to make it free shipping just above what your average order value is, because it tends to make the average order value go up because people will buy that one extra product to get free shipping. So it sounds like you've done it exactly right.
Yeah, thank you.
That's right. Anyone else?
I'm aware I've got a lot to do on my website. Very time short at the moment. So I wondered, would you have a quick look at mine and just tell me what's my first kind of quick fix thing that I need
I
to
can't see you, but I can hear you. Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
Hello.
do?
So are you on the button learning?
Yeah.
Just stop working. I can't remember if I looked at that one. I looked at a lot of them. Maybe I did, because it came up in my thing. Come on. Oh, it's Wix, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I spend so much time looking at websites, I just kind of recognise what they look like. I haven't looked at this on mobile. How does this background work?
I think it's all right. You just had a look just then, didn't you, Stu?
Yeah,
It's like obviously a lot thinner. You haven't got half of what you're seeing there.
Yeah, so it's probably fine. So your logo is beautifully clear.
Okay.
Okay, so
Obviously need to do it.
Vicky's classes are brilliant. That's nice, but what do you teach?
Yeah, exactly.
It's really easy to get so close to your own brand that you kind of assume that everyone knows what you're talking about, and they don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is actually relevant to me and my kids.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't know that immediately.
Mm.
So you're talking about yourself and you're not talking about the client and the kids.
Yeah.
So I'd be saying, this is just going to be rubbish off the top of my head, but if you've got a child that's age blah, 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 they're going to have an absolute blast learning XYZ with us as you get to do whatever and meet new people. I don't know, make it up. Yeah. But yeah, sell their experience rather than your experience.
Yeah.
I like your colours.
Thank you.
Just check that they're all right on mobile from accessibility. They look, I think they're strong enough, but yeah, just double check. I've never heard of that hall. To investigate it. So, to book a place is quite difficult. We've got to contact you. We can't just book.
No, I haven't got booking online at the moment. It's all done old school. They contact me and then I send out like my details for payment. So yeah, it's something I've thought about doing, and I think I do need to do at some point. But it's obviously it's all extra money. Then they're taking a percentage, aren't they?
Removing friction though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you just book it. So right, I'm going to be completely honest. I've scanned the website and I still don't really know what the classes are because I haven't read it. I've scanned it, which is what most people do. Is it phonics?
Yes. So I started, my business started with preschool phonics, so learning the letters of the sounds of the alphabet, sounds for the letters of the alphabet, sorry. And then this year I've introduced my mini buttons, which is nursery rhyme theme, focusing on speaking and listening.
Oh, it does, it looks fun. If you've got photos of the kids, so these are real.
Yeah.
Take it. If you can get any video on here that will explain it, people love video because it's just easy, isn't it? You watch it, you completely understand something. The images are good though, although I think some of these are a bit small. Because I don't know, I find the layout a bit strange.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And also, what's going on in these pictures? Like that one I understand. Although I think, so I guess as long as they're sort of happy looking kids, that's what we want, isn't it? But yeah, okay, preschool phonics classes. I wish I'd done that with my 4-year-old because he's really bad at it now. Just thinking about your customer journey. I'd love to get my hands on this and completely change it. I can't help myself. I think a lot of the stuff that I've talked about will really help you.
Okay, brilliant.
Just have something strong at the top, a short thing about how you're going to solve problems and what it is that you offer. And if at some point you can bring in a booking system, then do it.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Bring your reviews onto everything.
Yeah.
Vicky, what I do to avoid losing too much money, I know that my classes are probably a bit more than yours for a whole blocking. But anyway, I take a deposit on my website. So I lose money on the deposit, but then I invoice them for the rest of the course when I send them out the information. So my website takes, I don't know what, I can't remember, is it 5%, Julia? I've forgotten, for Shopify, something like significant. But then I don't lose money on the whole course, but I do get the booking. And I've never known, I think maybe one person or two people in sort of 10 years who haven't followed through, because if it's a decent sized deposit, they're serious. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you do like half the cost of the course or something like that, so you don't lose money on all of it. But
so they pay the deposit through the booking system, and then you then send them an email with your like bank transfer details or however you do it.
Yeah, so I send them a welcome email, like explaining the whole course and where they need to come and everything else, like you always do, like, you know, directions and all that kind of is. And then like before the course commences, your balance is due, it's this much, these are my bank details, and it works.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Vicky, also, sorry not to go off on a tangent about like booking systems, but Bookwhen doesn't take as much of a percentage as that, like 5%. It's minimal. It's really minimal, the amount that they actually take. Although you have to pay for Bookwhen as an upfront fee, it's the percentage that they take from you is not dreadful. We're like talking pence.
Right, thank you.
We can talk more another time.
Coffee soon.
I just found these bits that are for sale, which I didn't see. So these are relevant to me.
This
my rubbish at phonics.
This is what I put in during lockdown when I couldn't do face-to-face classes. So it's something that.
Any of them now?
Sorry.
Do any of them sell now?
Occasionally, not as much. A random customer every now and then comes through and is plodding her way through each of the letters of the alphabet with my video classes. At Easter time or Christmas, I'll plug one of my resource packs, and I may get I get some sales from those sometimes. But yeah, it's not a big part of my business. It's just there. But it's something that I could make more of, I think.
Yeah, it's quite hard to find. So what you could test would be when people land on this bit, you'd start to stream them into what's relevant to them. So I'm guessing it'd go by age. So you would talk about, you would have 2 buttons, one for the people that want to come into the classes for the preschoolers, and one for the would you rather learn at home with your reception kid or whatever. So you start streaming them right up here into what it is that you want them to read next.
Right.
I'm trying to think where I've done that. This is the only thing I can think of is a brewery website, which is completely I'm going to show you anyway because it's the only one I can think of. But I was reading some TikTok nonsense earlier. So this is one of my websites. And there's two very distinct kind of customers, people that buy beer in cans and people that buy beer in mini kegs. So right up here, this is, I mean, it's not a brilliant tag, but it tells you what they do immediately, and it's going to come to your door, blah, blah, blah. And then it's starting to string them. So do you want beer in cans? Do you want beer in kegs? And it starts just directing people down the path to the conversion goal that you want. So if I were you, you've got two very distinct people that are going to be buying different things. I would do something like that.
Yeah, so I could have learn at home and then classes or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which route is for you, kind of thing. I've lost your website. You see these little, you can see this is the state of my brain from all the all the tabs I have open. I'm a nightmare. But oh, there it is. These little pictures are called favicons, and a lot of sites, and I see it a lot on Squarespace for some reason, a lot of people forget to add this image and it looks really bad. So you have, oh look, I've got this one.
That just made me have a panic attack. Oh no, don't click on mine.
I was looking at it earlier. But a lot of the
I'm with Linda, I need to let
on in, because that's one of those things that makes people lose trust, but it also makes them forget about the website if they go off and do something else, so they can't find it again. So oh yes, I looked at this one earlier as well, and I thought that's a lot of text. That was my initial reaction. Do you mind me looking at this, by the way?
No, you're fine, you go ahead. It's been on my list for an entire year to redo, and it still hasn't made to the top of the to-do list, because most people come through social media. When I speak to them, they might have clicked briefly on the homepage, but then they go and look on social media.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I'm looking for social proof. These are all cool. I'll probably organise them slightly differently, but yeah, they're cool. This is lovely, but I would be singing and dancing about that. I'd have that in big old massive logos right up here. Author, podcaster, whatever, it will that would give you a huge amount of gravitas immediately. I'll have it right up here. Oh, might get you around to sort out horrors in the house. This is slightly controversial, but a lot of people don't like having these here. It depends on how you get your bookings, I suppose, because they put these in the footer rather than in the header, because they want to keep people on the website, not having them sort of swanning off to other stuff. So I
think it should open it as a new page if the chap did it properly, but yeah, but then it still moves them onto a different screen.
It's generally better these days to have them in the footer. Okay. So they're there if they want them, but you're less likely to before you've got them around your website, if you like. And yeah, it's just a bit out of date, isn't it? But yeah, this is WordPress, isn't it? So that's really hard to read. Don't know what it looks like on mobile. But yeah, I don't know. I think I've probably gone over most things that you could apply to this.
Yeah.
You've got this privacy and cookies policy, which was probably just, I can't see that you're using any cookies.
The man that did probably put it on there.
Google.
Sorry?
Got Google.
I don't use it, but it might be on there.
Yeah, you do. So in theory, you've got Google tracking on this. So if you're in Google Analytics, you could have a rummage at what your site's doing if you've got access to it. These, incidentally, these cookie settings, the Wix one is incredibly irritating. They've set that up really badly. If you use the Wix one that came with it, it stops all the tags firing until people click accept, which is really annoying because you lose half your data. Whereas a lot of them will come up and say, if you're gonna, and basically say this, we're going to assume you're okay with this.
Yeah.
And it fires anyway, so it's just annoying. But if you are using any kind of tracking, Pixel, Google Tag, whatever, then you have to have this by law, which is annoying. Only in blooming UK, EU, because without it, you can get fined 100 grand. Which I think is a bit silly because everyone knows that they're being tracked by cookies now. It's like, well, I don't see why they make you agree to it, but there you go. I have to do it in the States. Have I waffled on enough and bored you all stupid yet?
Just
No,
a quick
it's been
question.
so
Can I-
interesting. Go on, yeah, of course.
Is that all right? So my website only went live about 3 weeks ago, and I feel like I'm kind of just sitting here waiting. And I suppose I definitely need to blog, but is there anything else you'd recommend doing?
Which
at the
site
moment?
is it?
It's amymoss.co.uk.
Can I look?
Yeah.
I don't think I've looked at this one. Oh, cool. You know what I'm going to say.
Too much text.
You know what I'm going to say, that this is just, no one is going to read it. They're going to scan it. Your logo's lovely. It's all nice and clear. Hang on, let me just see what platform you're on. Squarespace.
Yeah.
Hurrah. Yeah, so blogging in Squarespace is quite easy as far as I remember, and you can pull them onto the homepage as well. But yeah, if I were you, and this is going to be really annoying if you've just launched this, as me coming along going, oh, but that's my job. Yeah, I would check the size of this font on mobile. It might be fine, or it might be just because it's slightly paler, it might be hard to read. I don't know. I find that slightly hard to read. I don't know if it's because it's a bit dark in here, but nobody's going to read this. They will scan it, look for words that they're interested in, and then move on. And you'll think that they've absorbed all this information. They won't have. So also, that's quite early to be saying book an intro call. Like, there's just not enough. If this is your homepage, that's not enough. You need to have all those trust factors that I've talked about, those borrowed things, like you've got these, but I would have more where you've trained, who's quoted you, what magazines you've been in, what podcasts you've been in, anything you can, books, anything where they'll go, I absolutely believe and trust that this person will deliver what they say they're going to deliver.
Yeah, on the homepage. So I've got it. Yeah, I was going to say on that one.
Throughout here, but you don't have any. So this is the only signposting you've got is up in this navigation. So they're either here and they book a call or they leave.
Yeah.
You need more. So your homepage is almost like a shop window. So it can duplicate these things in boxes. So you'd have or modules. You'd have a module for find out different ways to work with me down here, and it will link to this. You're allowed, there's no rules, but if you're doing it, so your working with me looks more like an about me. So I assumed that working with me would be about different ways that I can work with you, like different packages you offer.
I think it is a bit further down. Maybe.
Okay, see, I thought the page stopped there, so
yeah,
it's me being picky, but so that's
that bit.
So it's this is still an about me. It's not different ways that I can work with you, which is what I thought it was from the title.
Yeah.
I love a bit of hypnotherapy. Fascinating, absolutely fascinating. Yeah, just have a think about how you've signposted around your site and how the different parts of it link together, because at the moment, I mean, lots of like book your free intro calls, that's great.
Yeah.
But I think they need a bit more information before they're ready to do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Services, is that going to be?
Well, it will when I've elaborated it a bit. But yeah, at the moment it's just a bullet list, but eventually it will have a bit more information about the approach for each of kind of those areas.
Blogging should be really easy for this. But I say that, I haven't got to write it. But writing about these topics into blogs, and you've got, and each one you can even splinter into 100 more different blogs, because you can pull out all the different parts of anxiety. And case studies and all sorts. You could get so much stuff out of this that Google would bring people onto your website.
Yeah.
So if I were you, I would absolutely be blogging. FAQs, that's good. I love an FAQ. So you've got your testimonials, aka reviews. don't wake up. I'm snuggling. Good boy. Can you see how blocky the text is?
Yeah.
It's just so you know, on that if I still got it open, on that Breeze website for the hay fever product, those were massively reduced. We took a tiny snippet that was relevant and then put the bits in bold that people were going to scan, so that you didn't even have to read it properly, because people, they just won't read it. And if you do want to put more text, break it up more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're quite long testimonials.
They're not going to let you have. I was working with a psychotherapist, and she just found it impossible to get social proof, because even though she was brilliant, she couldn't use any of it.
Yeah,
I guess this is similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, and have you got a what to expect? You probably do. It's probably
that's under FAQs, I think.
So I would pull some of that into the homepage.
Okay.
Yeah, just have more content, more background, more storytelling, and absolutely more trust factors.
Yeah, that's really helpful. Thank you.
So we're looking at how much you charge now, thinking, I would also, if I were you, I would make your buttons a different colour.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what a lot of people do, is they have their call to action buttons in a different colour, so that the navigation stands out.
Yeah.
You know you're going somewhere else when you hit it. It's all subconscious, so they won't know that that's what they're doing, but privacy policies, oh, they're horrible. If you do, this is completely by this random thought, but if you do end up with Shopify or Squarespace or whatever, they come with their own privacy policies, and they're really good and really thorough, so use them. So it saves you buying one. Just don't write it yourself. Okay, buddy. Oh, I get a cuddle. Right. Anyone else got anything?
I have written so many notes. It's been amazing, Julia. Thank you. Does anyone else have anything they want to ask?
I was just going to ask, how can we all work with you? Because we are all really bad at doing that bit when we do our presentation. So I think we're all sat here going, I think I might need this lady to come and help me. I'm
like, you know, the cobbler whose kids wear really bad shoes. That's me, because I haven't got my own website, because I have so many referrals that I haven't had time to build it, which is just ridiculous. So the best way to get hold of me is on Facebook. I've literally, because I had to, because I was being shouted at, literally in the last 2 weeks set a Facebook page up for it's going to be a full-blown agency soon, but it's called Two Hoots Digital. And annoyingly, there's another one, but they haven't, it's like 2 years old and they've never done anything. So Two Hoots Digital, and my logo, well, this is now, but it's the one that was on, it's this
Slides. Do you offer any kind of like little packages whereby you do a like kind of what you did just now, like review, but rather than you having to do the work, well, I can't think of the right word is, but you know, like
I do website audits.
That's the word, audit.
Go over it and say you should do X, Y, Z. It helps if you've got analytics, but if you don't, it doesn't matter, because I've done it so much, I kind of know what works and what doesn't. I do a lot of conversion rate optimization, and I do complete rebuilds into Shopify. So, and Facebook ads is my middle name. I have to call me Meta ads these days. So yeah, I do a lot of Facebook ads work, but Shopify seems to be, I get Shopify inquiries coming out my ears these days. It's like the world and its dogs currently open to shop. But yeah, the best way to get in touch with me is just either by DM or just through the group, whatever. Send me a message or just go onto my 2 Hoots Digital page.
I'll put a link in the Facebook group with all your details if you give them to me.
Yes, and obviously you can have my email address as well.
Actually, do you want to put your own post in? It might actually, it's a bit daft me doing it for you. Like, where do you want people to contact you?
Yeah,
and maybe a list of what you might be able to offer. And even, I don't know if you have set prices or it's bespoke, I don't know, then people will have a bit of an idea, because I think that this is really invaluable. And a lot of us are absolutely sort of flogging our guts out and working so hard, but probably missing a lot of sales because of small pitfalls that can be overcome. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it's quite hard because you don't know what you don't know, and particularly if you don't have the data to look at to back up what you think is happening, it's quite hard to know what to do next, isn't it?
It's very overwhelming. I remember when you were doing the Facebook ads for me, and it's almost too much, because you're a one-man band trying to do so many things and be good at so many things, and it's absolutely like relentless at times, isn't it? Particularly with the village, we'll go through like a different theme every month, which in theory is great, but every month we're introduced to like better ways to do things. Like, you should do this on Instagram, you should do this on your website. And it's like, oh my god. So yeah, it's really handy having someone who possibly could guide. So yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, oh god, Facebook ads are just so complicated. I can't. I mean, I spent 12 months studying how to do them. It was that mind-blowingly complicated. They did not make it easy.
Crazy. And I think also there's a lot of conflicting information coming out now telling us that Facebook is kind of done and dead and everything should be on Instagram. And so I hardly put any effort into Facebook. In fact, I barely put anything on my Bol in the Oven page. In fact, I feel like I should scrap it altogether because I just don't touch it.
I always think people say that because it's still the biggest, most used platform out there. It's the one that people bitch the most about and go, I don't use it, I hate it, whatever. It's still the biggest platform out there. So
we're all missing a trick. Absolutely.
Yeah, don't underestimate it. People still go on it all the time. They're still in all their local community groups. They're still going through their feeds. Whether or not they like it, they are on it. So
yeah, it's a really good point. Yeah, maybe I need to post more often. I can't remember the last time I used a Bol in the Oven account. Whoops.
I can't remember the password. Yeah.
Thank you, Julia. Yeah, if you put that post in the group, or if you can't, let me know and I'll do it for you. Just voice note me and tell you what you want me to write if you haven't got more than one hand available. Yeah.
When I'm watching Netflix, it's all good.
You have been wonderful, and like it's amazing.